There are a lot of abilities in Pokemon. Over 200 in fact. Some of them are awesome. Some of them are straight up overpowered. But for every great ability, there's one that's almost completely useless. Now you might be thinking about the abilities that are made to purposely hinder a Pokemon. Now these are important to try and keep its identity and stop it from being overpowered. I'm talking about those abilities where you get it and you just think, why does this exist? Today I'm going to be taking aim at these abilities and I'm going to be trying to fix them, making them not only more useful, but also more fun. These changes would be good for competitive, but also just normal playthroughs, Nuzlocks, randomizers, and challenge runs. There's just nothing more disappointing than catching a new Pokemon, or God forbid, a new shiny, and finding it's just got the bad ability on its 50-50, making it kinda useless. Now fixing these bad abilities just gives you more options, and that's always a good thing in my book. Now are some of my potential new ideas potentially broken? Yeah, but are they more fun? Absolutely. So let's just get into it. We'll start with a classic ability that everyone brings up when they talk about the most useless ones, and it is Illuminate. This ability has no use in battle, and outside of battle, all it does is increase the odds of finding wild Pokemon. That's something that people pay in-game money for in Repels to not do. To fix Illuminate, I would give it a 1.3 times damage multiplier for moves that use light to attack, similar to how Iron Fist powers up punching moves. This would include moves like Dazzling Gleam, Aurora Beam, Moonblast, Solar Beam, Solar Blade, Flash Cannon, Luster Purge, and there's actually more. There's a good amount of light attacks in the game. I would just love to see like a Choice Specs Illuminate Shiinotic with Moonblast and Solar Beam just for the memes. This would just be way more fun to actually have an effect in battle, and it would also open up the floor for some fun team building ideas. Plus and minus are a set of abilities that give you a power boost in doubles when you put a plus and a minus Pokemon together. Not only is this a doubles only ability, but it's also really niche in doubles itself. To fix this, I'm going to try something a little bit strange based on the theme of having polar opposites. To fix plus, I'm going to give your moves a 10% boost each time you use them in a row, stacking up continuously like the metronome item. And conversely, minus is going to give you a 10% damage boost each time you use a different move. You'd lose your stacks when you break the chain, and you'd have to start again. This leads to some interesting decisions where you might use a move that's not optimal and does less damage just to keep your multiplier going. This would have to have some kind of cap on it, but I think it would be very fun and a great ability to have on some Pokemon. Anticipation is an ability that when you switch in, your Pokemon shudders, which tells you if your opponent has a super effective move, or explosion, or self-destruct, or a one-hit KO move. Pretty random, and it doesn't tell you which one it is. Now, this ability isn't awful. I've tried to make it work in the past on an Anticipation Whiscash. He only has one weakness to grass, so I thought maybe I'll send him in, I'll find out if they have a grass move, and then I'll get out. Now, if you've played the game a lot, you generally have a lot of knowledge about it, and you'll have a great idea whether your opponent has a super effective move or not, making Anticipation generally quite useless. Now, to fix it, but to try and keep this theme of anticipation, I would have it so when you shudder with Anticipation, it tells you what move triggered that. Similar to Forewarn, except it only happens with a super effective move, or explosion. Would this be broken? No. Would this ever be good? Also, no. But it would be better. And I guess it would be good in a randomizer Nuzlocke to know if they have explosion? I don't know. Now there are a lot of signature abilities in Pokemon, and they tend to be pretty powerful. You know, there's Salmon and Mudsdale, Protean Greninja, even Parental Bond Mega Kangaskhan. So you might be asking, what is Sableye's signature ability so powerful it couldn't be given to any other Pokemon? It's Stall. Stall makes it so you move last every single turn. Now you might be thinking, how can you use this to your advantage? You can't. I guess it means you can use Payback at full power every single time, which is Stab. That's something. But aside from that very niche use, it is a complete hindrance. This is especially bad, considering Sableye gets Prankster, one of the best abilities in the game, which effectively does the complete opposite thing and makes you move first when you use non-damaging moves. To try and fix Stall, I considered making an ability where if you move second, you get a power boost to your moves. And then I realized that Analytic already does that, and I already forgot about that ability too. So I think in the spirit of Stall teams, I would make Stall make you always move last still, but also give you a 30% resistance to all damage coming in. That would include moves, status, and everything else. Now this would be a very powerful ability, but seeing as only Sableye gets it, and it competes with Prankster, and Sableye's stats are just average at best, I think it's more than okay. You would actually have to make the decision between the frail Prankster Sableye or the tanky Stall Sableye. Interesting team building potential. At the moment, there is absolutely no reason to pick Stall. Next up is one of my least favorite abilities, Klutz. Now Klutz is an ability where you just can't use any held items. This might sound like a complete downgrade to a Pokemon, and it usually is. If you catch a Pokemon, find out it has Klutz, you're gonna go back and you're gonna catch a different one because you never want this. There is one niche use of it on Lopunny where you can purposely give yourself a bad item, like an Iron Ball or a choice item, and you can switcheroo it onto your opponent, which is kind of funny, but it's not hugely useful, especially in a playthrough. To fix Klutz, I would make it so both players on the field can't use held items while the Klutz Pokemon is in play. This could actually be pretty interesting. Think about denying berries, blocking heavy-duty boots Pokemon from switching in, and outspeeding choice Scarfers. This could be crazy in doubles, negating your teammates' choice locks or blocking your focus sash. We could even add the extra utility of using it in playthroughs by making it so that trainers cannot use items from their bag. We've seen this same effect on the move Embargo, and that isn't broken, so I think this is totally fine. And blocking gym leaders from using potions at crucial moments could be really interesting for Nuzlocke. I think Klutz would still be bad in most cases, but it would definitely be worth a consideration, and you would be way less disappointed when you find out your brand new shiny Beware has it. Damp is a weird ability that blocks the use of self-destruct and explosion. Aside from shiny hunting certain wild Pokemon that know explosion, it's pretty useless. It doesn't make you immune to the explosion and the enemy kill themselves, it just means they can't use it. I don't want to get rid of this potential shiny hunting utility, so I'll keep that current function, but I'll also add another stat of having an effectively built-in Damp Rock held item. This means that when you use Rain Dance, it lasts for 8 turns instead of 5. I don't know if I would make it stackable with Damp Rock all the way up to 11 turns. I don't know if that'd be too annoying, would probably still be worse than Drizzle though. Another idea that fits the damp theme is having it act as a built-in water sport. Water Sport is just an incredibly useless move that lowers the power of fire moves by 50%. It's almost exclusively owned by water types though, who already resist fire. It's definitely not worth using one of your turns to use, but if it came for free when you switch in with damp, it's something I guess. I can see this having some utility being used in doubles with fire weak partners like Scizor or Ferrothorn. You know, keeping the train of weird and forgettable abilities, we've got Tangled Feet. Tangled Feet makes it so when you're confused, your opponent's moves have a 50% accuracy drop. The unfortunate thing about this boost is that it only applies while you're confused, and then when you snap out of it, it just completely goes away. So even though you have a 50% chance of dodging your opponent's moves when you're confused, you also have a 50% chance of just turning around and punching yourself in the face. I generally don't like accuracy reduction type stuff in Pokemon because it just adds so much random chance, but I'll keep it because it's an important theme of having Tangled Feet. All I'm going to do to change this ability is add a +1 speed boost when you get hit with the confusion, along with keeping the current functionality. That means that if you dodge enough moves while you're confused, you might come out of it in a better state than when you started. Probably still not though. Next up is an ability that I forgot exists completely, and that's Honey Gather. Honey Gather means that after a battle, your Pokemon might be holding a honey item. It's so impressively useless that I just completely forgot about it, but apparently if you're doing a Gen 4 catch-em-all speedrun, you need honey, but you can just buy the honey. It's useless. You know what, I'm gonna be completely honest, I can't think of a good way to improve this while keeping that theme of gathering honey. Hey, if you come up with something better for Honey Gather, please do let me know in the comments and I'll heart my favorite one. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that like button if you do like this kind of different content, because I love making it and I'd love to know if you guys like it too. Next up, we have a 2-in-1, we have Heavy Metal and Light Metal. These are abilities that either double or halve your weight stat respectively. Now what does this do in battle, I hear you ask? Well, not a lot. Now your weight does affect the power of a few moves, including Low Kick, Heavy Slam and Grass Knot, but aside from that, it doesn't really do too much, and is overall a very underwhelming ability. Now I wanted to make this one powerful, so I would add a 1.2 times defense boost to heavy metal and a 1.2 times speed boost for light metal. Now it sounds really strong, but it also competes with Technician on Sizzle and Sheer Force on Copper Raja, so it has to be good. Although a super fast light metal Metagross sounds kinda scary. But if Zacian taught us anything, it's the Game Freak doesn't really care about balance when there is fun to be had. Now for my last one, I'm going to fix Kenai. Now Kenai is an ability that a lot of common flying type Pokemon get. It gives you an immunity to evasion lowering moves like Sand Attack. Now this is pretty niche, but I think the worst part is that it doesn't make a difference when your opponent uses an evasion boosting move like Minimize, which is generally a lot more popular and powerful. I think I would just completely change Kenai and I would make it so that you get a +1 accuracy boost at the end of each turn, kinda like how Speed Boost works. This would negate any accuracy drops your opponent managed to throw at you, so it kinda keeps the same ability, but it also means that you could try some really powerful sets like Hurricane, Hydro Pump, Swanna, and you could use Protect to waste that first turn to make sure you get guaranteed hits from then on. So there you go. There is my ideas for fixing some of the most useless and underwhelming Pokemon abilities. I know not every single ability can be a banger, but I just love the utility and fun factor and having a lot of different options. Let me know in the comments if you think that these changes would be a good addition, or let me know what you would rather do instead. Thanks for watching the video. I look forward to reading all your comments and checking out what you guys have to say. Bye!